Walking in Another World, ch 603 to 630. Chapter 603, First Dungeon, Part 26. The Cerberus form up into groups of 2 and 3, and we defend against their attacks. When one attacks, the other supports or guard. When they attack, we have to put more effort into defending, so we just can't go all out and attack. Because of this, despite the fact that their levels are going down, it doesn't affect the effects of their magic. Of course, it's getting weaker, so while their magic removed elemental effects with one attack before, now it takes 2 or 3. Still, we have to block with those elemental effects active, or the flames won't go out until they burn everything. Something else that messes with our momentum is how the 3 heads don't attack all at once. We thought this fight was reaching its conclusion, but it actually takes us another 2 hours. Up until this point, there were times when our opponents changed how they fought when we entered a new floor, but we didn't expect them to bust out this kind of coordination at the end of the fight. The 99th floor will be the last one with Cerberus, but there's a good chance that their coordination will be even better there. We might need to rethink our strategy, says the Beast King, and no one objects. With our opponent's skills going up, we have to also prepare accordingly. But it's not all bad. At least we learned about it, and it won't have a bad effect on our skill. Our coordination is better than when we started, and we have a good grasp on our strengths and weaknesses, so we can work in a way that makes up for them. There's also the fact that even when the Cerberus were coordinating, our formation didn't break, and we were able to cover for each other. Should we go to the training area to improve our coordination? That's fine, but we could do it here in the dungeon. The Beast King proposes we go train on another floor. It could be on the floor with another 4-legged monster, the Hellhounds of the 71st floor, Orthros from the 76th, or the Manticores from the 91st. There are also the Tiger Owls and stuff like that below the 50th floor, but I think those would be too weak. We've gone through the upper floors, but it doesn't mean the monsters there aren't strong. But we have to face a certain degree of risk, or it won't be much of a training. After pondering it, we decide none of them really match Cerberus, so we're going to fight all 3 in order. The problem is that none of them use magic as troubling as the Cerberus. But if we fight Hellhounds on the 72nd floor, for example, wouldn't that affect a fight with Orthros on the 78th floor? I don't think so. If that were the case, they would adapt to our fighting style since the first floor, and it would be harder to conquer floors. I think that only applies to monsters of the same type. Rurika says to me, it's true, if they read our fighting style since the first floor, this would have been harder, wouldn't it? Then again, we have been changing party members and getting new weapons. Our fighting styles have stayed fundamentally the same, but there's been plenty of changes. There's no point in thinking about that. After that, we fight a monster a day. When they summon more and their levels go down, Mia and Chris get some training fighting at close range too. I was against that at first, but the Beast King convinced me that they can't grow if we coddle them too much, so neither Rurika or I complained. Also, Mia and Chris are fired up about it. I used to do it too, says Feigl while looking on into the distance. But it's true that he can fight to some extent even if monsters get close, but still, I have them agree to let me protect them with shields. At first, they can't dodge attacks perfectly and get hit, but after a few times, their movements become better, and they're able to guess where attacks are coming based on the very first moves. By the end, they can dodge without any problems. And by having a read on that, they can counterattack with magic. Well, we've done all we can. Now we just have to go through the 99th floor. A week after we started going around the upper floors, we're ready. We have plenty of disposable items too, especially MP and SP recovery ones, so we're okay even if it turns into a long fight. Walking in Another World, Chapter 604, First Dungeon, Part 27, the 99th floor. We're ready for a long fight with Cerberus, but we're not going for a long fight right off the start. Experience tells me that if we can finish it quickly, it's no big deal. That's why the moment we go in, we split into 2 groups. First, me, the Beast King, Rurika, and Sarah charge forward. I use magic while running, making use of parallel thinking to cast defensive spells on the other three, and after I'm done with it, I switch over to offensive spells. Hikari stands in place and uses projectile slash. Feigal also shoots from his bow, and chants magic. It's kind of his assigned role. Kana stands there to defend, while Chris and Nen chant offensive spells, and Mia support magic. The back row is also slowly moving forward. While we trained, we understood once again that it's important to restrict our enemy's range of movement while fighting. If the enemy is clumped together, a single shot of area of effect magic can deal damage to several summoned monsters. Cerberus starts by casting Hellfire, Hellwall, and summoning monsters, but I block Hellfire. Chris erases Hellwall with spirit magic, and the Beast King and the others in front start taking out the summoned monsters. Meanwhile, Hikari and Feigal attack the boss, and work towards not letting it do anything. Unlike the other bosses, Cerberus has 3 heads, so they can't break through with long-range attacks alone. But we already knew that, so the point is just to keep it busy. We're also closing in to take out its legs. Cerberus heads have strong attacks, but its mobility is no joke either. If it moves all over the place, it's hard to keep it still or hit it. Our preemptive attack at the start worked exactly as we planned. The Beast King swiftly gets close and delivers blows. Sarah swings her axes, and Rurika casts Gale after getting close to unleash precise attacks. I attack with my sword while using magic, and since it's not attacking, that's a big burden off our defense. But still, Cerberus shows intense resistance. When summoned monsters see they're at a disadvantage, they cast Hellfire on themselves, turning their bodies into balls of fire. We can't touch them in that state. We have to either use magic to put out the fire, or I can stop them. But if we touch them directly, we'll catch fire too. Despite their resistance to fire, they don't survive long when they set themselves on fire like that. TCH, that attacks trouble. The Beast King smacks his lips, but our opponents are also desperate to take us down. The boss uses this window to summon more monsters, and we can't stop it. But still, we take them down steadily, and move in to reduce their area of activity. The boss is gradually being cornered, and its fighting style is getting simpler too. Its mobility has been taken away, and it can't use Hellwall. It's a threatening spell that's good for offense and defense, but it's bad for the caster if used in a narrow area. I've actually seen one touch a Hellwall and burn to death. Sora, one's over there, says the Beast King, and I pull back the sword I just swung, to hold up my shield. The Cerberus at my feet turns to dust and disappears, but my mind is already on the next one. It's going for a tackle, but it can only muster up half the power because it can't get a good running start. Actually, less than half. Once I block it, 2 arrows fly past my shoulder and hit it with the usual precision. It screams, and the remaining 2 heads fly into a fit of rage, but we're not done. First, Rurika uses Gale to cut at it from a blind spot, and while its attention is there, Sarah attacks a head from above. The swing that has extra power from her coming down catches it by surprise, and the head is cut. That's another one down, and the Beast King just took down another one, so there are 4 left. These 4 are being kept in a corner of the room by Chris and Nen, who are attacking with magic in waves. Once the magic is gone, let's attack. Sora, grab the attention of the boss. Feigal and Hikari, support from a distance. Rurika and Sarah, don't force yourselves to take them down. They attack once the magic is gone, but unfortunately, don't take out any of them. They're cornered, but that also hinders our movements. But we know that, and the most important thing is to not let them summon more. What matters is the next attack, and Chris, Nen, and Feigal are done chanting magic. We didn't take them out, but we did wound them, and more importantly, kept them there. The magic is fired, and it engulfs the trapped Cerberus. Walking in Another World, Chapter 605, First Dungeon, Part 28. The moment the magic is gone, we see 4 Cerberus. One of them is disappearing, so it looks like it shielded the others. But when we see the 3 that are left, we stop. Actually, it's one in particular. It's a humanoid monster. Appraisal tells me it's a Cerberus, so we can tell it's this floor's boss. Did it transform? The humanoid Cerberus has one head, but it has additional faces on the left and right shoulders. We're already surprised, but the changes don't end there. The other two Cerberus also turn into a humanoid form. Ah, this is good actually. They look like they'll be easier to fight. Dear, look at. The Beast King doesn't hear Nen, and dashes forward. I don't know if he's doing this because he has so much experience fighting people, or because the fact that it transformed into a humanoid shook him. But since one person is on the move, we can't just stay back. Moving out alone increases the danger of him being surrounded. I'll attract the boss' attention. You cover him, and Kana, take on one of them. I use provoke, and the boss and the other one, the Beast King, isn't targeting, turn my way. A good use of provoke manages to attract two of them, so I start firing magic to get their attention even more. Kana is right behind me, so I'll take on the boss, and Kana the other one. The problem is that I'm caught between them, but I just have to get over it with skills. But then a Cerberus approaches and Kana hits it with a sharp thrust, so it switches targets to her. Kana, don't overdo it. I swing my sword at the boss, and it blocks with its gauntlet. It then steps forward to kick me, and when I hold up my shield, the impact reaches me through the shield. It's pretty heavy, despite the absorption effect. Its body is smaller in this humanoid form, but has its power gone up? The Cerberus doesn't care that I'm blocking with the shield, and keeps punching and kicking. These movements aren't at all slick, but it's too close for me to swing my sword. It's a series of attacks that really follows the idea that the best defense is a good offense. Being this close isn't good for me, so I try to counterattack. Now I activate Shield Master just as it kicks me, and the attack bounces back. Cerberus loses its balance but doesn't fall, but I swing my sword before it can fix its posture. Now I'm on offense and Cerberus is defending. It uses its gauntlets to repel attacks, and it counters, but if I can keep a good distance between us, its attacks won't reach me. I don't have a lot of experience against people fighting barehanded, but my experiences against the Beast King are coming in handy now. I didn't like it back then, but now I'm a little, just a little, thankful. Still, even if I have the advantage, it's still not going down. The reason is mostly those faces on the shoulders. Those aren't decorations, they support by using magic and breathing fire. Still, by using parallel thinking, I can counter it with magic of my own. Kana, on the other hand, is fully on defense, and the back row is supporting her. Hikari throws out a projectile slash and closes the distance, but the target being smaller means that support doesn't go the way she wants. There's the danger that she might hit the wrong target because they're so close. I start wondering how the Beast King and the others are doing, but the fact that they're not here tells me they're still fighting. The Beast King, Ruruka, and Sarah are fighting, but they're probably having a hard time because of the magic. After all, the humanoid monsters still use Hellfire and Hellmaul. I can attach elements again on my own, but Kana has to keep being supported by Mia. I feel a constant holy magic reaction from Mia, so I think she's also supporting the Beast King and the others. I attach holy magic on the shield again after blocking Hellfire, and I start to feel a little flustered. Growing with experience is a trademark of this dungeon, and the Cerberus in front of me symbolizes that perfectly. Its haphazard movements are now more polished, and there's less and less pointless moves. The moves that were very simple now include feints, and when we're firing magic at each other, it attacks without giving me room to breathe. 3 claws suddenly emerge from the gauntlet, and the distance between us widens. But the worst is the effect on those claws. Don't touch the claws, I yell, even though I don't know what's going on with the other Cerberus. The holy effect on my sword is suddenly gone. When I cast appraisal on the claws, I see they have the same effect as Hellfire. Walking in Another World, Chapter 606, Enhancement. Crossing blades and continuing to attach the effect leads me to learn a couple of things. First, the Hellfire effect on Cerberus claws is weaker than the magic, but it still damages weapons that don't have the light or holy attributes. When they use magic, the flames don't stop until they burn the target to cinders, but this one feels like it's on a timer. It feels more similar to Hellwall in its effect. I know this because the Beast King's gauntlet was damaged. Second, magic erases the elemental attributes completely, but the claws have to hit a few times before the effect is gone. But still, since Mia has to keep casting the effects after they disappear, this puts a big burden on her. People like the Beast King and Rurika are dodging and trying not to touch their attacks, but Kana can't do that. She's more about power than speed, but she's actually fast compared to regular people. She just seems slow compared to Rurika and the others. The problem is that we're facing Cerberus, and they're always going to be on top in terms of speed. Also, we have to stay close, because if we go too far away, they might attack the back row. I can always tell when effects expire, but Mia can't. So she always has to recast them with plenty of time left. She can recover MP with potions, but we have to be careful because they stop working if consumed again and again. Ever since the Cerberus turned into humanoids, we can't lower their numbers or overwhelm them. I think it would be bad if these Cerberus summoned more again, but strangely enough, the humanoid Cerberus don't show any sign that they will do that. It'd be nice if they lost that ability completely. But I need to be careful, because they might still use it eventually. I recast the effect on my sword once again, and swing it. Even with the effects of natural recovery boost and walking, I might not be so comfortable if this fight keeps dragging on. If only I didn't have to keep recasting it. As I think that and fight, I start checking the list of skills. I still have skill points, so I could get a skill that would help in this fight. I use parallel thinking to search while I fight, but my fighting power still goes down, and I have to spend more MP because I end up recasting the effect before it's been erased. Still, my eyes stop on one skill. Enhancement. Makes equipment and magic stronger. Doesn't work on people. Will this work? It doesn't work on people, but maybe it will as it levels up. And let's not think about how I should have found this before the blacksmith skill. It was nice going to Ryu's village, and there was that thing with the giants. I learn it, and cast it on my sword. It looks the same, but once, twice, thrice. The skill is only at level 1, but I can hit Cerberus with my sword close to 2 times more. Also, I can use this skill on other nearby targets. The Beast King and the others are too far, but Kana is in range. Will the range widen as it levels up too? Anyway, I cast enhancement on Kana. Mia, I'm supporting Kana too, so cast your support magic less often. I yell. It would be nice if I could explain that with telepathy. Should I look into making a magic item that can receive telepathy? That thought crosses my mind, but I immediately shake it off. We need to finish this fight first. Now that I'm also supporting Kana, Mia can support the Beast King and the others. And not long after, one of the monster reactions disappears. The Cerberus the Beast King was fighting is gone, and himself and the others come to help. Now Kana is guarding, and the others are attacking. The heavy attacks of the Beast King and the others offer incredible offensive power, so after they come to help, another one goes down quickly. That leaves only the boss, and while it offers more intense resistance than the others, Chris' spirit magic ends it. That closes the curtain on the 99th floor, meaning we have 1 floor to go. Walking in Another World, Chapter 607, Absolute Secret Data. The first dungeon. Only 3 parties have beaten it in a long history of the guild's administration. There are records of the people who challenged the 100th floor, but they are tightly guarded by the guild. Only those who have beaten the 99th floor have access to them. But the real reason is that only people who have beaten the 99th floor can actually see them. Do I place the guild card here? Yes, and then you will be able to see it. But only the owner of the card can, so place it here every time. The reference materials were left in the form of a magic item book, and the information within doesn't appear without a guild card with the 99th floor beaten. It also reacts to the magic energy of the owner, so only the owner of the card can read it. And we learn the reason in the book itself. What now? Can we advance? It's bad enough that even the Beast King is asking that. The voices of the people who beat it are written in the book, and show the power of the Fenrir. Also, We learn why this dungeon hasn't been truly conquered. So there wasn't a single party that beat Fenrir, as the Beast King says. The parties that were said to have gotten through the 100th floor didn't beat Fenrir. The reality is that all of them challenged the 100th floor multiple times, and after being deemed worthy by Fenrir, the path was open to them. They fought, and along the way, Fenrir left numerous lessons for the challengers. Basically, teaching them how to become stronger while they fought. I guess this really isn't the sort of thing you can make public. It could have been welcomed in times of peace. It's too risky, now that people can actually die. I agree with the Beast King. Once you enter the dungeon, you either defeat all the monsters that spawn, or you die. That means the people that challenged the 100th floor were all defeated every time. That reminds me of the people the Beast King showed us. Sora, don't overdo it. I wanna save my friends, but, says the Beast King, but our goal is also to beat the dungeon and release the god that's said to be sealed in it. After all, the giant god Kalotos was sealed in Majolika's dungeon. This dungeon could very well be one of the 7 ancient ones, but from what we can read here, it's hard to imagine us beating it. It says how it attacks and fights, but there's a lot of grumbling too. I can't help but notice just how much it emphasizes that the monster is strong. You two think too much. We just have to not lose, says Rurika in the middle of this heavy mood. All dungeons come with risks, right? We can't just assume we'll lose. If our opponent is strong, we have to think about what to do to win, she adds, after no one responds. She's right. And if we really look at the book, it does say how it fights, in the middle of all the grumbling. And how it attacks. First, it summons mini Fenrirs, but the boss doesn't move. We have to beat them to face Fenrir, but it doesn't summon more after that. Then its attacks become progressively more varied. So it's going to be a long one, but there's a problem. When does it switch attack methods? According to the book, it happened after they fought it a few times. It never switched in the same battle. It feels like Fenrir gets serious when it's satisfied with the challengers, and suddenly gets stronger and starts kicking them around. So if we get through its attacks after it goes up a gear, it moves to the next. Anyway, now that we've read this, all we can do is raise our levels. I don't think we'll be able to challenge it right away anyway. Our equipment was saved by the attached effects, but not completely. Everything has some damage that needs to be repaired, so we'll prepare ourselves in the meantime. For me, what I need to do is raise the proficiency of my skills, especially the enhancement skill I just learned, and test it out. For example, when I use it on Hikari's weapon, does it affect her skill? Can I use it directly on projectile slash and magic? I know I can enhance skills, but I need to practice the timing. It's easy to use this on support magic, but hard on offensive skills and magic because there's movement involved. I talked to Hikari and Ruriko about it, and asked them to help me train with the enhancement skill. Walking in Another World, Chapter 608, Enhancement, Part 2. The next day, we all go to the training area. I already explained the enhancement skill to everyone last night, but there's an issue. Training is nice, but won't we destroy buildings and stuff? Asks Rurika. But would it be that dangerous to enhance offensive skills? Then how about the dungeon? If we defeat all the monsters on a floor, we can stay there and train. We agree with Chris, and head to the dungeon right away. We pick the 66th floor. We could have gone lower, but Hikari really wanted to come here. You're so soft with Hikari. I can't deny that when the proof is in front of us. It's hard to say no when she looks up at me like that. We might level up from taking down minotaurs too. It's hard to level up because we're all high level, but defeating a few strong monsters still gives us some nice experience. That's the reason I give, but it doesn't really convince anyone. Let's just fight normally to warm up. The Beast King and the others aren't here today, so it's just the 7 of us. It's fine, because we already beat this floor by ourselves, but we should still be careful. We fight cautiously, but we end up getting through it very quickly. First, I test the enhancement skill in battle. I cast it on everyone's equipment, and the minotaurs go down one after the other. However, Weapons with the enhancement effect lose a lot of their durability, so it feels like a double-edged sword. It's not that big of a problem because I have the alchemy and blacksmith skills, but it might make it a little harder to strengthen a regular person's weapon. Especially if it's something valuable like a magic sword. I don't want to break something and have to pay for it. Also, if a weapon is made stronger, direct attacks have more power, but long-distance attacks activated by skills like projectile slash aren't affected. Too bad, says Hikari. But we can't do anything about it. Actually, maybe that will change as the skill levels up. Also, projectile slash is too fast for me to cast enhancement. But I can buff Chris magic. That's a good part of the reason why we can mop up the minotaurs like that. It looks like it will be hard to enhance magic as it flies out. But even I can do it if the caster holds it. But not everyone can do that. I think it's down to Chris being so good with magic, and me having a grasp on the flow of magic energy and being able to detect magic when it's ready. An average sorcerer can't hold a spell like that, and even the ones that can't do it for very long. It's easy to forget that, because Chris does it like it's nothing. And me? I think I can use this in many different ways, including with Nen and Feigl. Those two are on a different level compared to an average sorcerer. However, Chris also tells me that they can't hold spells too long, because it spends magic energy. Master, it wasn't meat. As I think back to the fight, Hikari comes back after opening the treasure chest. The king minotaur fur that was in it is worth quite a bit. I should also be able to make some nice equipment with it. But Hikari cares more about meat than high-quality materials. We have stuff we got on higher floors, so it's actually not that valuable for us, and we're just going to keep it as property of the party. I don't know when I'll make things with creation, so it never hurts to have materials. Also, we've been making plenty of money, so it doesn't hurt us to not sell this. One more time? Yes. You don't have to look that happy. Rurika and the others are smiling, like they're thinking there's no fixing me. I'm soft with Hikari, but you're not any different, you know? Let's rest a little more. I have some other things to check too. I use enhancement on a shield barrier to test how long it lasts, and check again how the durability of equipment goes down. Things like how much does it go down with each attack, or how it changes when I block an attack in relation to the power of the attack. I also test it on equipment created through replication. After that, we head up to the 67th floor. It's not that different, so we fight normally. We end up going until the 70th floor, and we get 2 king minotaur meat, and 1 minotaur meat. After we leave the dungeon, the Beast King asks why we didn't invite him, but Ryra scolds him. He thought we were in the training area, and tried to finish work quickly to go there. At least the knights that trained with him are happy. And so, while we wait for their equipment to be repaired, we go to the dungeon, spend time in the training area, walk around town with Elsa and Alto. And after all this time recharging our energy, it's finally time to take on the 100th floor. Walking in Another World, Chapter 609, First Dungeon, Part 29. When we enter the 100th floor, the first thing we see is a big wolf with pure white fur, that shines silver when light hits it. It's big. Just like the reference materials said, this is even bigger than a giant. Once everyone's inside, Fenrir raises its head. Its eyes shake when they meet ours. It blinks, and its eyes turn sharp as it makes a strange sound. Then, 10 wolves that are about a third of Fenrir's size appear in front of it. These many Fenrirs take off running the moment they appear. Fenrir puts its head back down after summoning them, and looks at us with squinting eyes. Everyone takes position like we practiced, and then magic that was already cast and thrown weapons fly. The thrown weapons explode due to the effects attached to them, so they can get in the way of the enemy's advance even if they don't hit them directly. However, the many Fenrirs keep dodging them as they charge forward. They're even faster than Cerberus. Here they come, yells the Beast King, and I step forward with Kana. 7 mini Fenrirs emerge from a wall of smoke. I don't know if I should say we managed to take out 3 of them, or only managed to take out 3 of them, but lowering their numbers like that is big for us. It seems like they've decided who they're targeting, as they move to fight one-on-one. They also just target whoever is closest. We all move forward, except for Mia, Chris, and Feigl, who aren't attacked until one of the 7 goes down. In this one-on-one situation, no one can attack from a distance or change targets. Fighting fast enemies up close like this means long-distance attacks could very well hit an ally. At least that would normally be the case, but Feigl fires arrows anytime he sees space between a friend and a monster, and Chris also shoots fire arrows to support. The first ones to go down are the mini-Fenris. The Beast King and Ruriku are fighting, thanks to support from Chris and Feigl. They know how those two move the best, so they attacked in perfect sync. Now that we have the numbers advantage, the battle shifts heavily to our side. I unsheathe my sword, and a mini-Fenrir easily dodges. But Ruriku is waiting when it jumps back to take distance, and she activates Gale just before it lands. Ruriku's twin swords hit the mini-Fenrir, and it disappears. They keep going down one after the other, until there's one left. It's fighting Hikari, but its movements are clearly dull. I cast Appraisal, and see the paralysis status condition. Finally, it loses its balance, and Hikari rapidly gets close and cuts its throat, making the last mini-Fenrir disappear like it's melting. "Are you okay, Hikari?" "Yes, no problem." But next, Hikari is composing her breathing, and she's looking at Fenrir as it raises its head. The reference materials said it would talk to us, but unfortunately, it attacks instead. I stand in front of the others, take out my shield from the item box, and activate the Shield Master skill Aura Shield. It activates in a semicircle, protecting people behind me. Fenrir attacks with its breath, which violently clashes against Aura Shield. Even with Mia buffing me with her magic, I still hear some unpleasant sounds. I think Aura Shield might break, so I cast Enhancement. The noises stop, and after a few seconds, so does the breath. I let out a sigh of relief, and brace. All of a sudden, Fenrir is right in front of me, and it keeps charging forward. It's like it was waiting for Aura Shield's effect to run out. I'm about to cast Aura Shield again, but... Stop! It's already too close, so I brace and try to stop the attack with my shield. As I'm wondering what kind of attack is coming, Fenrir chooses to just tackle me. I lower my posture and brace for impact. I can feel it in my arms through the shield when it hits me. It hurts even though it has the absorption skill. The only thing stopping me from being blown away is the fact that at this point, I have experience fighting big monsters. I direct the impact to my feet, preventing me from being lifted into the air. Fenrir makes a noise, almost sounding happy about it, and shifts to the next attack. But before it can attack, our counterattack starts. Ruriku swings her swords while using Gale, and the Beast King and Seru attack from left and right. And as a result, it's undamaged. No. The monsters on the other floors also blocked attacks with magic energy. All we can do is continue to defend, and keep attacking to wear it out. Walking in Another World, Chapter 610, First Dungeon, Part 30. It's been nearly 3 hours since we started fighting Fenrir. We've been going back and forth between attacking and defending. But something inexplicable is happening. As the reference materials said, after taking some damage, Fenrir changes attack patterns. Or rather, adds more variation. This is why we have to put more emphasis on defense, but we were expecting that, so it's only by the third time it adds new attacks that we feel something's off. Kana blocks an attack, but not completely, which flings her back and her balance is broken. We think Fenrir will attack again, but it doesn't. We figure that's just because Hikari and Feigl throw in their support just in time, but as the battle continues, we gradually come to realize that's not it. "Is it holding back?" whispers the Beast King with a frustrated and confused tone. "Yes, for some reason, when Fenrir has us on the ropes and is coming for the killing blow, it stops for a moment. I think a few of us would be in the recovery room by now if it wasn't for that. It's good for us, but we can't help but find it odd. We met dangerous situations on the floors before this, but none of the monsters there ever stop their attacks halfway." "Yes, I can feel something," says Mio after I block a tackle from Fenrir and I'm blown back to the back row. "What?" I don't know how to say it, but I feel like that Fenrir is suffering. And something feels a little nostalgic. I think it feels similar to Miss Ileana, for example. Ileana and Kalotos? Yes. And Elizabeth. I look at Fenrir again. Appraisal doesn't show me its level, but other than that, it's like any other monster. Analysis doesn't change that either. But after hearing that, I focus, and I also feel a presence similar to Ileana and Kalotos. It's weak and hard to notice, but I think it's definitely there. So is this Fenrir a god? Is there a god sealed inside the monster? Then I think back to the reference materials, and how Fenrir fights almost like it's prompting people to grow. I remember how Ileana told us about a god that liked fighting, and loved getting stronger. Said god was attacked by the fairy god, and sealed in this tower. What if this god knew about how this dungeon is currently? Would he work to stop it? I don't know. We were told we had to conquer dungeons to liberate gods. But if a god is sealed inside this Fenrir, we might not need to conquer the dungeon. The issue is how we liberate him. Do we have to defeat it? If that's the case, it's no different from conquering the dungeon. Sora, can you stop that Fenrir from moving? Moving? Yes. I want to test something, Mia says as she holds her staff tightly. Stop it. I look at Fenrir, that just blocked an attack from the Beast King and Sarah, and is counterattacking. It also targets the back row with its breath, so I cast Aura Shield. Its offense and defense are becoming one, and there's no opening. Mia wants me to stop it, but not like grabbing its attention. She wants me to actually hold it in place and leave it defenseless. The first thing that comes to mind is space-time magic, but that stops time for everything around me. What about weakening it to dull its movements? Would Chris spirit magic work? Then I remember something. There is one kind of magic I don't really use, but could dull its movements, gravity magic. Would that work? Rurika, I'm making an item. By some time, I yell, and everyone else also hears. If Fenrir understands our speech, it can also hear that, but I don't have time to consider that now. If I'm using that magic, I want to raise its odds of working. I take out a knife and apply the gravity effect. If it pierces. No, if it hits a target, it will activate. But the gravity effect is weak, so I'm also using enhancement. I also make arrows with alchemy, and I give them to Hikari, Figel and Rurika, and explain the plan. I'm making that many because I want to end this as quickly as possible. I'm sure Fenrir will start dodging if it figures out their effect. I also asked Chris to use magic to keep it restrained. Like wind or water spirit magic. Everything's in place. Now we just need to stop it, and set the stage for Mia to try her magic. Walking in Another World, Chapter 611, Curse Lifting. In front of Mia's Fenrir, with its head down. It's staring this way with hatred and groaning, and Mia is reflected in its eyes. It took us 3 hours to get here, and almost everyone here is wounded. The Beast King and Sarah are particularly spent. Kana and I have been fighting in the front line, but thanks to my walking and Kana being Igilin, we're okay. But if Mia's trick fails, I can't see how we can keep going. I can only hope she succeeds. In order to stop Fenrir, I continued using the gravity effect on it without holding back. I made a lot. But since I didn't know how much damage it would take to stop it, we couldn't just go crazy with it. We had to consistently stop attacks, and continue to attack it. In a way, it was a very basic battle. There wasn't a lot of flash to this fight, and I think that's part of why it took so much stamina. The reason why it took so long was that Fenrir recovered with time, but that healing couldn't heal everything, so it kept building up. If it wasn't for that, Fenrir wouldn't be still right now. When I first saw it move fast again, I despaired, but appraisal showed me the effect was still there. The biggest danger was when it reached that damage threshold and it changed attack patterns, or maybe when it added more attacks. I also feel like it got a power-up, and we were pushed back temporarily when it did, but we managed to hold the line because the back row attacked it with full power. The memory skill also really helped me, because I managed to remember its new attack pattern. But then we had to hang on without support from the back row, until they could recover. But you're okay, Sora. Do you just have more stamina than anyone else? I was just walking. Will it work? We just have to believe and wait. Yes. Even the Beast King is nodding. I figured he might say he's just getting warmed up. But number, or is it just because he likes fighting people? I think it's starting. Even as we talk, our eyes don't leave Fenrir, and I'm still casting gravity magic, along with Chris. If I was the only one doing it, we couldn't hold it. I look directly at Fenrir, and think that it really is too strong. Are all Fenrirs this strong, or is this one special? I hope it's the latter. I don't think I have enough lives to get me through finding one of these in the wild. Actually, could it be defeated? Maybe demons like Ignis could do it. The option that makes the most sense to me is that this Fenrir is a god. That would explain its power. I think we should have the answer soon. I look at Mia holding up her staff, and feel the magic power in it increase drastically. But that's not the only power I feel there. Recovery. Mia chants said holy spell, but it's not like my recovery. No, it's on a whole other level compared to any other sorcerer casting holy magic. We watch as the spell wraps around Fenrir, and I worry that it will dispel gravity too, but it looks like it's fine. I unconsciously let out a sigh of relief. Hey, look. I know what the Beast King means. Recovery changed one thing. The Fenrir's eyes seemed muddy before, but now they're almost clear. Does that mean it has its sense of reasoning back? I figure maybe that's an exaggeration, but then magic is flung. This sudden occurrence surprises me, but I immediately move in front of Mia to protect her. That's awful, you know? It was so heavy. Oh well, I guess you did it to save me. The Fenrir is talking instead of fighting. It's not moving its mouth, so are the words going directly to our heads? I feel something nostalgic there. The little girl and the big guy? And the serious girl? Fenrir is looking around at us while squinting. So is this Fenrir really the god Styr? I think, and it grins. Yes, I am the beast god, Styr. The Fenrir in front of us introduces itself. Note, since we are getting close to catching up with the roars, I'm dropping it to 3 chapters a week. Walking in Another World, Chapter 612, Styr. That brat really. Do you remember? Mr. Styr? Yes. Speak normally. And yes, I do. Then Styr starts talking about why he was sealed on the 100th floor of this dungeon. One day, that brat, Tanya, came here, supposedly to study what kind of dungeon this was, in order to make one. And as Styr felt good talking about the dungeon he was so proud of, he was suddenly attacked, and sealed after having his powers taken away. And apparently Tanya messed with various functions of this dungeon, which is why the revival function isn't working properly. But there are currently people who are revived using that feature but haven't woken up. Yes, I know. I used my powers to put them to sleep, in order to prevent damage. And is there a way to undo that? Or rather, save them? That's not a problem. Hold on a second. First, I need to bring this dungeon back to the way it was, Styr says, and then goes quiet. First of all, since we cleared this dungeon, or I guess liberated the god, we're calling this mission accomplished. Then I notice that the Beast King is very quiet. Is it because this is the Beast God? I look at him, and he looks frozen, like time stopped. Is it like in Majolika's dungeon? I stopped time for everyone not concerned with this. Although it doesn't work on one person. Styr is looking at Nen. She's also frozen, but it's like she's frozen with shock. Apparently this person is a Maiko, so she can move in this space. She has the power to receive oracles, and that increases her affinity with us gods a lot. He then adds the word probably, and gets back to work. I'm surprised, says Nen, even though she doesn't look that surprised. I really am, she says, like she read my mind, and Chris and Mia tell her what's going on. Nen quietly listens, and asks questions when they're done. It's done. Now I just need to wake those people up. You'll do, young lady. I'll share some of my power. For some reason, he says that to Mia. Why Mia? I ask while Sarah and I look at Nen. I figured a beast god and a beast person would be a perfect match if he's going to share his power. I chose her because she can use holy magic. As I think to myself that it's strange, Styr explains it. He's considerate, Or I guess, honest. Also, I think she's a vessel that can handle my power. You also have various divine protections, but divine power is dangerous. Someone could very well die the moment they receive it. I see. And since Mia became godlike, she can do that. Also, well, don't complain at me. HN? About what? No, nothing. My power can also make her wish come true. Mia hears that, and tilts her head. Yes. Put out your hand. Steer puts out his hand, and Mia puts hers on it. It's like he's telling her to shake. Then Steer's hand glows, and that light goes into Mia. Do you know how to use this power? Yes. The healing is just your holy magic strengthened. And the other? Try doing it. Mia nods. Possession. She yells, and wolf ears appear on her head, along with a tail behind. She looks just like a beast person. Big Sister Mia looks like Big Sister Sarah, says Hikari as she looks Mia up and down. Your physical abilities are greatly increased in this state, and your body is also stronger. That should allow you to fight at close range, like you wanted. Mia checks her body as she hears this. But apparently she can't hold this for very long, and she soon returns to normal. Well, it's all about getting used to it, and you will slowly. And you'll be able to hold it for longer. As for everyone else's reward, go to the next room. There are 10 treasure chests with things that should be useful. Apparently their contents are random, but change to match whoever opens them. And it seems there are 10 treasure chests even though Mia already received her reward, so the Beast King and Feigl don't think it's strange. Since there are skill scrolls in treasure chests, we can just say she learned a skill that way. Well then, I guess I'll also go to where the little one is. You don't have to stay here. That's not necessary anymore. Well, I will erase that stuff in the reference room though. He's probably talking about the things written about the 100th floor, but I still have something to ask. Can I ask something? HN? What? Was the Fenrir on this floor strong because that's just how Fenrirs are, or is it because you were sealed inside it? Phew, isn't it obvious? Because I was in it, says Steer, and he leaves the Fenrir's body. I see a small white wolf that's transparent, and doesn't appear to have an actual physical body. Well, that's what happens when my power is taken from me. I'll take refuge in that bracelet for now. And Maiko, what you heard here and what you know as a secret, is the last thing Steer says before disappearing into my bracelet. And then time flows normally again. What happened? The Beast King is moving again, and he's looking at the dead Fenrir. It makes sense. What Mia did was cast a sort of healing spell, so of course he's surprised to see it dead. We don't know what to say, but Nen explains. Which of course, isn't the truth. Then she says she received an oracle, and the Beast King accepts it. Well, it's actually dead. The Beast King whispers, and he leads the way as he opens the door to the room in the back. Walking in Another World, Chapter 613. Reward. We all enter the room, and see the dungeon core in front of us. The Beast King touches it, and 10 treasure chests appear. It doesn't matter who opens what chest, because the reward will be adapted to whoever opens it. Then each person can decide what to do with it. They can even sell it. The Beast King, Feigl, and Nen all get equipment. They seem happy with their gauntlets, bow, and bracelet. Our party mostly gets equipment too, but mainly support accessories instead of weapons. Mia gets a skill scroll, and we make it so she got a skill from reading it. And I get a bracelet. The moment I put my hand in the treasure chest, it shines and the design changes, but someone gets a magic item instead of equipment. Hikari. I wonder what effect that has, says the Beast King. I'm curious too. It looks like a gourd, but when I cast appraisal, it doesn't show its effect. This is wonderful, says Hikari while holding it like it's precious. What is it? I ask, but it's a secret. I'll unveil it later, is all she says. I'm curious, but since she'll tell us eventually, I'll wait. Then we leave the dungeon, and are surrounded by adventurers waiting outside. Noto and the others are here too. Hey, we're tired. Sorry. This time, it's quickly broken up. Some people really want to ask questions, but this is a bad time. The Beast King is in a hurry because of his friends. This time, Chris tags along with Mia, and watches her as she heals. Here it goes. Mere chance recovery, and light envelops the sleeping people in front of us. King and as we nervously watch, one of them wakes up. The Beast King looks worried, but smiles broadly once he hears those words. One of them gets up, and the other sleeping people wake up one after the other. The Beast King offers them a simple explanation, and I kind of feel like this recovery ended pretty simply and abruptly. I gave her power. Of course it's easy. I hear Stia's voice in my head. Well, he's a god. Thank you. When I leave the room, the Beast King bows deeply. How are you going to explain the stuff with the dungeon? Well, that we cleared it and stuff. I'm going to leave it to. I'm going to get Nen and Feigel's advice. Feigl smiles awkwardly, and Nen is exasperated. But I'm sure they'll support him. What about you and your party? Our job here is done, so we're going to leave. We need to get Elsa and Alto back to Majolica. They leveled up in the dungeon, but we still can't take them around with us as we travel. I see. Well, tell me when you're leaving. We'll have a big send-off for you. I don't think that's necessary. I politely decline after looking at the others. Then we have dinner, and spend some time with Elsa and Alto. We tell them they're going back to Majolica, and they look sad. Probably because they're going to be house-sitting again. Don't worry, I'll look after them. Shizune is fired up. It sounds like she really isn't going to go with Naoto's party. It's good for us that she'll stay with Elsa and Alto. But I'm worried because she always forgoes restraint when it's about them. I just hope I don't hear about the guards taking her away one day. Master, I want meat, says Hikari as she looks at Elsa and Alto. We just ate dinner, but she's already hungry again? Then I think back to dinner. We ate a lot. Siphon and Argo treated us to a lavish dinner to celebrate our conquest of the 100th floor. There really was a lot, and I stored the leftovers in the item box. Now? No, uncooked meat. Uncooked? Yes. Wolf is good. I tilt my head, but I guess I have a lot of wolf meat. I bring out a big lump, and Hikari takes the gourd out of her item pouch. Then she brings it near the meat, and it disappears. Look forward to it, master. Hikari gives a big satisfied nod, and puts the gourd back in the item pouch. What is she doing? I'm sure she won't tell me if I ask. So I just have to wait. Walking in Another World, Chapter 614, Defeat. There's an air of excitement around the training area. It's like an encore of the tournament. It would be a problem if something were to happen, so there's also a barrier just like in the tournament. Apparently that needs a lot of power from magic stones, so is that okay? People are using dull weapons for mock battles, but that's not a reason not to be careful. Because those can still be deadly weapons in the hands of experts. But well, that's why we have the barrier. Also, everyone was warned not to get too carried away. Especially the Beast King. It was decided that everyone would be fighting without skills, but the people watching are still in awe. Right now, the Beast King is fighting Argo. The Beast King tries to press close, but Argo quickly slashes to keep him away. He saw very well during his fight with Siphon just how unreasonably strong the Beast King is when he gets close. Argo keeps attacking and putting the Beast King fully on defense, but it's clear the Beast King has the advantage. Argo feels that too, so he tries out different things as he swings his sword, but nothing reaches the Beast King. The Beast King's attacks are flashy, but his defense is also top of the class. According to him, you can't live without a good defense. The demons Guido and Ignis smacked that idea into him. He was looking into the distance when he told me that. I think it's almost over, says Keats, and sure enough, Argo's swordplay is thrown off for just a moment. Probably because he's tired, and the Beast King defeats him. Was he going for that? No doubt about it, I whisper. And Keats answers, are you fighting too, Shun? No way. I'd just lose. What about Sora? I'm passing too. Shun was the one who was most likely to win under these conditions, because he's the strongest when it comes to pure swordsmanship. Argo and Siphon are no match anymore, so if Shun can't do it, no one can beat the Beast King. As for me, if I could use skills, I would be on about equal footing. I don't know how I would do if I learned skills specific for close quarters combat, but I know they wouldn't do much if their levels were low. Maybe I could win in the future if I leveled them up, but considering we're going to keep going to dungeons, that feels like a waste. It's not like I can learn an infinite amount of skills. Wait, I guess I could if I just kept walking and getting points, although the amount of steps necessary went up a lot after I passed the limit. And since I've been moving around a lot with transfer, I'm having a hard time getting experience for walking. I guess I can walk in dungeons. Ah, but Fuzz is an exception. There are 5 dungeons left, a field, labyrinth. Wait, wasn't one an urban type? I've heard of something like that. Who's next? The Beast King asks for another challenger. But no one volunteers. He's full of energy, despite going through more than 10 opponents already. That includes Hikari and Rurika. The Beast King has come out victorious against everyone. Ah, I feel like he's looking this way, so I face the other way. When I turn to the side, I see Shun doing the same thing. Yes, I will do it. A challenger appears, and everyone's surprised, including the Beast King. I can't? No, you can, but are you sure? He asks reflexively. Yes, I would have probably asked the same thing if I were in the Beast King's position. After hearing that, the challenger, Mia, stands before the Beast King with a long pole in hand. Let's go then. Yes, thank you. Mia nods, and uses the thing right away. Everyone except my party is surprised by what they're seeing. After all, animal ears suddenly grew on her head. After some tests, Mia discovered she doesn't actually have to yell possession, so she can instantly transform like this. Here I go. Mia ignores the Beast King's surprised expression, and attacks with a simple thrust. There are no feints or anything, it's just a direct attack. The difference is the speed. From the moment she steps forward, there are no wasted movements. It looks hard to defend against this when it's your first time seeing it. Especially if the person facing Mia knows her. After all, who could have expected such a sharp attack from her? Still, the Beast King crosses his arms and blocks it. That's to be expected, but all he does is stop the attack. He can't kill its momentum, and it drags him back. It feels like a switch flips inside of him to get into battle mode the moment he takes that attack. But Mia isn't done. She's already right in front of him. She lets out a cute sound while swinging her pole. The Beast King realizes he can't dodge, so he blocks with his arm, but he's blown away this time. He flies horizontally towards the barrier, like a ball that was hit with a bat, and crashes against the wall after breaking through it. Broken pieces fly around, and there's smoke. I feel like the ground was shaken by that impact. Everyone's at a loss for words, and looks on as the Beast King staggers to his feet. His head is bleeding, and his eyes can't focus. That was an awesome attack, is all he says before he collapses. Someone nearby confirms that he's breathing, but he's unconscious. Mia rushes towards him to cast heal, but the Beast King doesn't regain consciousness. Walking in Another World, Chapter 615, Going Home. I'm sorry. The next day, we hear the Beast King is conscious, so we go visit him. He's lying on a bed, but he looks well. There are a lot of documents on the bedside table. Mia apologizes the moment she comes in, but no, it was my fault. I underestimated you. He apologizes for being careless, and if anything, he seems frustrated that it ended like that. I can't do it now, but once I'm all better, fight me again. Yes, and I'll try to control it better. The Beast King tilts his head, but Mia explains that she can't control her strength very well yet. By the way, the Beast King is under the impression that Mia can turn into a beast person because of a skill she learned from a scroll. You did that, even though you still don't have full command of it? The Beast King's face twitches, but Mia is apologizing to Nan. I'm going to take it easy for a while. I've been working a lot lately, so it's actually good. The Beast King is in a good mood. Is he the type to let work pile up? Then we tell him we're planning to leave in a few days. I see. I'm gonna miss you. What about Argo, Siphon, and the others? We said we're going to Majolica, and they said they're coming with us. Then we leave to go buy things here in the Beast Kingdom. Mostly food at stalls, stuff like flavorings that are hard to get anywhere else. It's mostly food related, with a lot of it being spices. None of this will go bad in the item box, so we just buy various things. Then it's time to leave. The Beast King and the others see us off, and we set out from the castle's training area. Actually, we're using transfer. No one's here but us, the Beast King, his party that challenged the dungeon with him, and Ryuru. Bye. Make sure to enter the next tournament, he says after catching Argo's and Siphon's parties. And Shun. Watch yourselves out there. See ya next time. We all say goodbye, and Mia looks a little troubled when the people who were sleeping thank her. Well then, I say and cast transfer, and the scenery in front of me changes from the training area to the house in Majolica. We've been away for a long time, but there's no dust anywhere. I'm sure the people who moved from the faraway town have been looking after it. Let's let some fresh air in. Elsa and Alto run around opening windows, and once they're done with that, they go check the kitchen. Can we have some ingredients? Are you making something? I was thinking of buying something here today. Can't we? I guess you can. Here you go. Shizune is glaring at me behind Elsa. Elsa, are you cooking? Yes. Then I'm roasting this too. Hikari takes meat out of her gourd. Master, go out. Leave the cooking to us. Hikari throws me out. As I watch them, I decide I might as well go tell Hiroyuki the others were back, and find Taliya along the way. Ah, Sora, you're back. We just got back. Taliya is a servant in Layla's house, and the one who taught Elsa and Alto how to do housework. I see. If you have time, how about visiting my master's home? What for? It's a little sudden, but I can't say no after all they've done for me. I work out my plans in my mind. I need to take Stia to Ileana's place, but I can't leave Will the feudal lord waiting. We just got back, so how about I go in 3 days? I propose that after thinking about it. That way, I can take Stia first. I ask Taliya to tell them that, and she goes back. Seriously, what do they want? I tell Hiroyuki and the others we're back, and tell everyone about Taliya when I go back home. Isn't it just going to be trouble? Asks Ruruka, but I can't say I don't agree. They're calling me out there, and I think Taliya was on her way to see if we were here. Oh well, there's no point thinking about it. Dinner's ready. Hikari and the others bring the food while we talk. Different things are lined up, but one stands out. It just looks like regular meat, but my eyes are drawn to it. It's the smell. It's really appetizing. It's not just me either, everyone feels it. Hikari nods proudly as she looks at us, and says it's only one for each person. I guess between our party, Natos, Siphons, and Argos, we have a lot of people here, but there are only 2 plates with that meat. We do as Hikari says, and start eating. Walking in Another World, Chapter 616, That Gourd. Hikari, is this that meat? Yes, wolf meat. I'm surprised by the taste after one bite. It just has salt and pepper, and yet, it's so good. The flavor keeps spreading in my mouth the more I bite into it, and leaves a good aftertaste. When I put something else in my mouth, it mixes with that aftertaste to bring out the good flavor again. So that's why Hikari wasn't upset when she was the only one who got an item not related to combat. Is this the effect of putting it in the gourd? Yes. It's a magic item that makes meat tasty, she says while taking the gourd out of the item pouch with a big smile. For some reason, appraisal doesn't show me anything about it. Master, I request meat. I'll give you after we're done eating. Yes, it's a promise. It's better to eat food while it's hot. Hikari's right, so we talk about what to do next while we take our time eating. Siphon starts drinking, but Yuno doesn't stop him. She usually doesn't unless he starts drinking in a weird way. Also, since most people here don't drink, and Argo and the others aren't heavy drinkers, there's less danger of him drinking too much. Once we're done eating, I prepare a bath with magic, and everyone takes turns using it. Master, I want meat. What kind of meat this time? Or do you want several? Just one for now. So I give her orc meat. By the way Hikari, you said for now, so yes, this keeps evolving if I keep using it. It's great. According to her, it gets new features the more she uses it. What's with this high performance thing? It really is great. Also, it seems the longer meat stays inside, the tastier it becomes. Is it maturing? However, Once inside, the meat can't come out for at least 2 days. There's also a set amount that can be put inside, but apparently that also grows as she uses it. This item is like a skill. Hikari puts the meat inside it, and heads off to take a bath in a good mood. The next day, I go to Altair with the same people as usual. It's been a while. How have you been? Hey little girl. Did you shrink? The big one's the same. Who are you calling little girl? You were beaten by Tanya like a weakling. Ileana is mad over being called little girl, and starts slapping Stia. But she doesn't really seem mad. I feel like this is normal for them. Stia doesn't seem concerned either. We could just go back, but it looks like Kano wants to talk to Kalotos, and Stia says he wants to teach some fighting techniques to Mia, and then Rurika and the others. I'm surprised when he takes human form, but considering the monsters in that dungeon could take humanoid form too, I guess it's not that strange for a god like Stia to also do it. After seeing Mia's possession, Ileana faces her one time, but unfortunately, she doesn't have much power. Actually, she should be focusing on staying quiet and recovering, instead of using it like this. Chris is next to me watching too, and she asks me a question. Sora, do you have any plans for where we are going next? We're back in Majolica, so Preeks would make sense. It's also in the magic state, and it should take us a few days to get there. Maybe we can get Noto and the others to help, but apparently they went to the dungeon emphasis after the tournament, so they want to relax for a while. We could take it easy for a bit too. I'm going to see Will the day after tomorrow. And you and the others will leave you to handle it. So I have to go alone? I mean, I get it, but Will is Layla's father, and also a noble who is the feudal lord of Majolica. But what about the Beast King? Well, he was acting as an adventurer when we met him, and his loose footwork means he doesn't really feel like a king. And there's the fact that we saw Ryra complaining to him a lot. He's more of a comrade in arms, I guess. We end up spending the day in this dungeon, and Hikari thanks Stia, with a rare full smile on her face. Stia also gives her a satisfied nod after seeing her. Well then Sora, see you next time Tilda. Be careful out there. Ileana was the one who tasked us with looking for the gods, but she doesn't want us to work too hard. We might end up collapsing halfway through if we do, although we probably did push ourselves too far on the 100th floor. Still, it was unavoidable to conquer the dungeon. I think we can come here and ask for advice if something troubles us later on. Walking in Another World, Chapter 617, Will's Request. The day after we get back from Altair's dungeon, I go to Layla's house to see Will like I promised. Hikari and Mia are next to me, and Elsa, Alto, and Shizyun are behind me. First, Mia came along because Hikari said she wanted to come, and she was worried. Elsa and Alto want to give some gifts to people in this mansion that looked after them, like Talia, so they asked to come along too. And Shizyun followed them. Sora. And Mia and Hikari, it's been a while. And Elsa and Alto, and Shizyun. I'm a maid in training. Layla is surprised when she greets us, and Shizyun greets her courteously. She's like a completely different person. But why is Layla here? Wasn't she in the capital? Are you here to see my father? Let me take you to him. Gifts? All right, we can take you three to another room. Hikari, Mia, and I are taken to Will's study, while Elsa and the others head to where Talia and the others are. I'm sorry for calling you here, is the first thing Will says when he sees us. Layla sits next to him, and the three of us sit in front of them. Immediately after, a maid prepares tea and places it on the table, and then brings sweets. Hikari, let's eat. Hikari gets restless, and Layla prompts her to eat. Will is also reaching for it and not stopping her, so we're having sweets first. And as we're finishing our tea, Will speaks. I have something to ask of you. You can say no, there won't be a problem. Although in a way, this is less a favor from you, and more from people you know. I asked you here as a sort of intermediary. Intermediary? He continues, and it seems his business is with people like Noto, Shun, Argo, and Siphon. Actually, Will peeks at Layla, and a troubled expression forms on her face. Layla has been appointed the acting Lord of Preeks, and entrusted with managing the Fortuna Magic Academy. Will looks really tired when he says this. I wonder why Layla took on a big role like that, but apparently the situation in Preeks is really bad, and there's no one else that's up for the job. Will's partner, Layla's mother, was supposed to go, but it seems they won't be able to manage the capital without her, so that fell through, and Layla was chosen. Since this started with Layla's mother, she grumbled that if that wasn't possible, she'd just go. And it all went through without complaints because the higher-ups in the country were worried about leaving that to someone else. By the way, my wife grumbled because if this was left to someone weird, she would be the one to deal with the negative consequences. Apparently, Preeks is in a terrible state. The last feudal lord was stained with illegal dealings, and the higher-ups of the academy also took part, along with many other problems that came to light. I heard about the tournament in the Beast Kingdom of Lath. Layla knows Siphon and the others as well, so I was wondering if they could be instructors in the Magic Academy for a while. But didn't it already have instructors? No, it was mostly theoretical. Unlike the Magius Academy, students there rarely go to the dungeon. And since Layla will take over management, we were thinking about taking the opportunity to change that. And there is also the fact that there are fewer adventurers in Preeks right now. Yes, when Noto and the others were exploring the dungeon, only people with the permission of the feudal lord could enter it. That led to a lot of people leaving the city, and it was how we met Siphon and the others again in Majolica. But this is all just an idea, and nothing is being forced. Since the dungeon in Pix has been beaten, there's apparently no danger of it going crazy. But people still try to beat it because there are a lot of riches to be found in a dungeon. Anyway, I can talk to them. But no promises. Yes, of course. Layla, how about you go with Sora to talk to them directly? Very well. Then we meet up with Elsa and the others, and head home. Talia, this is for you. As we're leaving, Talia sees us off, and Hikari gives her something. What is this? Tasty meat. You just have to use salt and pepper. It's the orc meat that was in the gourd. Are you sure? Yes, I got sweets too. And you looked after Elsa and Alto. I see. So master, I request meat again. I'll give it to you after we get back. Orc meat again? Yes. Walking in Another World, Chapter 618, Invitation. I see. I think I got it. Noto and the others hear about it from Layla, but the reception isn't good. It's easy to see on their faces. The only people here I can see being teachers are Siphon and Keats. They're helpful, and good at explaining things. Argo isn't bad either, but he isn't good at putting things in order. Noto and Shun are just baffled. You can't do it? We're not good speakers. But the Fortuna Academy. Siphon crosses his arms and looks at Yano. So you're managing the academy, but do you have a goal? Siphon was with Layla's party for a while, so he's speaking on behalf of the others. I passed by Preeks on the way here, but the first order of business will be lowering the entry age. Why? Because the orphanages are in a terrible state as well. The academy has dormitories, so if we get them to enroll, we could give them an education that could lead to a good future. Layla's eyes stop on Elsa and Alto for a moment. I'm sure Siphon noticed it too. But it sounds like she doesn't know if that will be possible. She's going to tell it to her mother, but it's still uncertain if they're going to have the budget. I personally don't mind if there's a set period. And we get regular days off. That can be arranged. Siphon sounds a little positive. Argo and Noto on the other hand don't look like they want to do it. Shun doesn't look like he likes the idea of teaching, but he's kind of interested in a magic academy. Miharu and Kotri are the same. I guess it would make sense to be curious about an academy in another world, even if enrolling in it is a different story. And since Layla and the others tell them pretty much all they're doing, there's no real reason to go there. In my case, I can already learn magic skills, but I could see myself enrolling back when I came here the first time. Especially to learn more about this world. But age restrictions. Now I'm thinking about Elsa and Alto. They can't come with us. But if they go to the Magic Academy, that might give them more options. This is what I want, but they have their own ideas, so we'll have to talk about that. They'll probably agree if I say it. but pushing them into anything will just be a bother to them. I think that's all from me. I'm sure you can't make a decision on the spot, and I will be here for another week, so. Yes. I will come by again in 5 days to hear from you. Then we talk about what Layla was doing in the capital, and what we've been up to. We can't talk about the village of the giants until the Beast King makes an official announcement, but now that the problem with the dungeon has been solved, they should start to interact on an official basis. I don't know how that will turn out, but I told them to contact me through the guild's messaging service if they need help. It sounds like the tournament is a hot topic of discussion even in the magic state, especially the fight between the Beast King and Shun. And how he managed to corner the Beast King quite a bit. I'm sure people would be surprised to hear me echoed him, even if it was a mock battle. I think anyone who wasn't there wouldn't believe it. See you next time. After Layla leaves, we start talking about what we're going to do next. Are you going to Preek's dungeon too? That's the plan. We accepted a quest, so I don't know if we can help. Don't worry about that. And I approve of Siphon and the others becoming teachers, says Rurika, because she learned a lot from them. Also, Jin, Guilford, and Yano are great adventurers. They're exactly the people you want if there are going to be classes in the dungeon. But we don't have to go to Preek's next, says Rurika, and I agree. We haven't fully decided what dungeon we're going to next. Preek's is near, but with transfer, we can be back anytime. I also want to see the Empire if I can. I've been there before, but we were just passing on our way to the Black Forest. Things were different than usual too because of the war with the Demon King, and Sarah's former master also meant we couldn't take our time there. From what I've heard, it's not the kind of place where I want to sightsee, but I still want to see what it's like, and there are 3 dungeons there anyway. Walking in Another World, Chapter 619. Checking performance. I don't know what conclusion Siphon and the others will reach, but we have some things to do in the meantime. First, we have to check out our rewards from the first dungeon. But of course, since we're hesitant to do it in the city, we're going out. Elsa and Alto are coming along, and so is Noto's party. Argo, Siphon, and their parties are staying because they want to go to the dungeon. Argo wants to check it out while he's here. It makes it feel like his idle lifestyle in the capital never even happened. Then again, he says he was acting like that and hitting on people to look for Morrigan, so maybe this is just what he's actually like. Apparently he taught Noto and the others a lot of useful things when they were traveling together. Is around here good? Looks like it. We're in a forest south of the city, and since there's a spring up ahead, we decide to stay here. Mia, Elsa, Alto, and Shizune start preparing to cook right away. Hikari gives them meat, and then comes back. Apparently she's curious about the items Roriko and the others got. I'll go first. I got this hairpin that looks like it goes well with my Gale skill. When I infuse it with magic energy, my body is enveloped in wind, which lowers the wind resistance I get when I use Gale. That means there's less of a load on me. But since it uses magic energy, I need to find out its limit. Yes, when I use magic energy control, I can see a thin film of magic energy around Rurika's body. Can't you carry other people too? What would happen? I can if I touch them, but it's really intense on the magic energy. Rurika touches Sarah, and then crouches and whispers that she's feeling languid. Her magic energy is gone, but she takes a mana potion out of her item pouch, and looks a little better. I got this bracelet that raises my maximum magic energy. As Sarah says, her bracelet gives her 200 more MP. It's definitely a good item for Sarah, since she has low magic energy to begin with. My boots give me the blessing of the wind. I can move fast, but if I use magic energy, I can move instantly like a fake version of Sora's transfer. Chris focuses her magic energy, and disappears. I hear an ouch, and when I turn to look, I see her sitting on the ground. I didn't stick the landing. She gets up with her face turning red. That's great big sister Chris. Can I do it too? I wonder. It spends a lot of magic energy, so it might be difficult. Do you want to try? Yes. Hikari takes the boots, looking very excited. But what about the size? I think that, but when she puts them on, It feels like they shrink to just the right size. It looks like they're just to the wearer. I see. It's not that rare among magic items. Seriously. Hikari focuses her magic energy while everyone watches, and she can't. She says, I cast appraisal, and it says you can't use them if you don't have the necessary magic energy. And Hikari is definitely on the lower side of the magic energy spectrum. Also, if Chris says it takes a lot, it definitely takes a lot. I use it like it's no big deal, but transfer is a pretty brutal skill. Someone can instantly appear behind someone else and cut them down. It makes sense that activating it takes a lot of magic energy. Well, I think it's best if Chris equips them and uses the skill as a way to evade in an emergency. Yes, I will do that. But you need to practice. Rurika's right, even if it causes Chris' face to turn red again. She's thinking back to what just happened. I'll try. But she knows Rurika is right. Also, it doesn't use all that much magic energy when it's just boosting her speed. What about your item, Sora? Nothing changed. I guess I need to free the other gods. My bracelet is the same, so I guess I have to look forward to when all the gods are free. I see, then. Our eyes turn to Kana. When I wear this brooch, I can use the magic I used when I was alive. Appraisal calls it a recollection brooch. Kana uses magic. Since she's a Maiko, it's light magic. But she says she can use darkness magic too. But I can't use it too much. Magic energy decreasing messes with how I operate. It makes sense, considering her body is a golem operated by magic energy. Still, being able to use magic opens up her options in battle. After checking everyone's equipment, Mia says the food is ready. That leads Noto and the others to come out of the spring too. They were having fun in their swimsuits. Maybe we could go have some fun too. Walking in Another World, Chapter 620, Favor. This feels nice. I have my feet in the spring, and I'm looking up at the sky. The weather is clear and warm today, so the cold water really feels nice. Are you okay, Elsa? Yes, I'm taking a short break. Elsa and Alto are learning to swim. It doesn't look like swimming for fun is very common in this world, but they got interested after seeing Shun and the others doing it. Kotori and the others are also teaching Rurika and the others. Aren't you going to swim, Sora? Asks Elsa. I'm good. I swam a little for the first time in a long time, and got really tired. I'm supposed to have more stamina than before because of my stats, but is it because I haven't done it in a while? Or is walking working against me? Sora, I have a favor to ask. A favor? Yes. It's about Layla. Do you think we could enroll in the school if we asked? That's surprising. She should be able to join the Magius Academy in 2 years. I was thinking about it after that talk of removing age restrictions, but since they're used to living in Majolica, there's not really a reason for them to move. Is it because we're going around in dungeons? Going to the Beast Kingdom and the dungeon with you all made me think there's a lot I want to learn. And Alto feels the same. I'm not against it, but you don't have to be in a hurry. You're going to be separated from the people you know here. Does she want to go to Preeks because of Alto? He still needs to wait 5 years before he can go to Magius, but going to Preeks means all the relationships they've been building will be reset. People in the shopping district nearby know them too, and I know they care for them. Actually, Shizune told me. Yes. She's always bragging about their qualities. Not just to me either, the others have to hear the same things. Yes, but I still want to go. And you'll be less worried if we're in a dormitory. We had some reservations when we first went to the dungeon, but if Will is keeping an eye on them, I think it'll be fine. Quite a bit of time has passed since we got to the Beast Kingdom. And any worries I might have left her also lessen because Shizune will be with them. Then again, the idea of someone messing with Elsa and Alto and Shizune flying into a rage is scary too. We still don't know if we'll go to the dungeon in Preeks next. Yes, I know. It's fine. Shouldn't we gladly encourage them to do this? Says Mia, sitting down next to Elsa with a tired sigh. If you thought about it well, we have to cheer you on. Did you already know? I spoke to Mia and the others before. And the others? Could it be that they also arranged it so it was easy for Elsa to talk to me, just the two of us? I'm not mad or anything. But we should talk to Layla more about this. We don't know what Layla wants, and what her policy in the academy will be like. Kotori and Miharu seemed interested too, so maybe Shun will also talk about going there. If Miharu is going, Shun will probably follow. Are you going too, Mia? Maybe not. I like traveling, and sitting still while listening is. Mia smiles awkwardly. Is she thinking back to her time in the church? But Hikari looked interested. Yes, I think Hikari is getting interested in magic. Then how about you learn a lot so you can teach Hikari? Asks Mia. That's a lot of responsibility. Fufu, it's alright. If you really are interested, you will make great teachers, so she will listen. Right now, she's more interested in cooking. Hikari has been investigating how tasty she can make meat. If she could study that in the academy, I think she would go. Great teachers. I guess Hikari does listen when Chris talks about magic. Okay. Let's talk about this next time we see Layla. We still need to check if the age restriction really will be dropped. And we need to ask about nice property too. Aren't we going to a dormitory? There's a dungeon in Prix, so we need a base. Fufu, just say you're worried about them. We really do need a base. Prix is a field-type dungeon, so it was fewer floors than Majolica, but it still took Naoto and the others some time to beat it. Apparently we can come back after every floor. It sounds a lot like Altair's. And of course, I am worried about them. Walking in Another World, Chapter 621. Moving. Some big decisions have been made. First, Siphon and the others decided to accept the role of teachers. They're going to be like special lecturers that offer instruction on how to fight, and the know-how of being an adventurer. Second, when we asked Layla if Elsa and Alto can attend the Magic Academy, she immediately said yes. Shun and Kotori also talked to Miharu about joining the academy, and Naoto and the others are apparently going to assist Siphon. And apparently Shizune wants to work in the academy's cafeteria. She's really getting used to being a maid. When Layla learned Shizune is an expert with magic, she started negotiating to get her to be a teacher too, but they haven't reached a conclusion yet. What about you and your party, Sora? We're going to a dungeon, I guess, I say, and I get a kind of exasperated face in response. Layla is probably thinking that it's weird to try to conquer another dungeon right after beating Majolica's. She might know about Fizz too. Also, Argo and his party are coming with us. We're going to a dungeon in the Empire next, and since they explored one of them to a certain extent, they'll be our guides. You don't have to come with us if it's a bother. It's nice to have a guide. But the Empire is pretty far. Also, I can't use transfer this time, so we're going from Prix to the capital of Maia, and then further north to a town called Hylia. Then we're passing through the mountain town of Yuan to reach Elysia. Why? Because I selfishly want to visit places I've never been to before. Of course, Mia and Rurika approve. As for Rurika, Sarah, and Chris, they're resigned to it. It's fine, Sora, it's a side trip. Guilford then tells me what he means. Their plans are to go to the dungeon in the Empire, and then keep going to the Republic of Eldo. So they're going to see Morrigan? I could take them with transfer. No. Argo needs to sort out his feelings, says Guilford while tapping my shoulder. He doesn't get it, says Rurika. After hearing about this, Layla hurries back, and leaves Majolica 2 days later. At first I think she's very busy, but apparently she had to go to Prix in a hurry anyway. Apparently she was cutting it close so she could hear what Siphon and the others had to say. Incidentally, new students are going to start being accepted in a month according to her. It takes about a week to get to Prix by omnibus. It takes about 10 days by foot, and we need to prepare to travel too. First, Elsa and Alto go around saying goodbye to people, and then we buy what we need. Since we're going to be walking, we need to buy food to have on the road. Apparently classes have already started, as Mia and the others give Elsa and Alto homework about how much to buy. We don't know what kind of future awaits Elsa and Alto, or what they're going to study, but if they happen to become adventurers, they need to be able to manage their food. When you're like me and you can carry everything in an item box, you stop thinking about that sort of thing. Ever since I learned spatial magic and raised its level to the point of being able to conserve food, I've pretty much stopped giving it any thought. At max level, we can buy all sorts of things and not have a problem even if we spend a month in a dungeon. Also, the world is a pantry, but that's thanks to appraisal. Being able to use it to tell what is and isn't edible means I can confidently say I could survive even if I got lost in a forest. However, most people have to learn those things from books and stuff like that. Or even in school, or from adults that lived in a forest. When they get to pricks, they're going to have to carry their own food. I can make item pouches, but I think I should refrain from giving them, at least at the start. Even if they can't carry that much, they're precious items, and that can lead to trouble. We head to Preeks 3 days later, after we're done shopping. Argo and his party are going to Preeks too, so I assume they're going with us to the Empire. But, well then Sora, see you later in the Empire. Send us a message through the guild when you get there. Actually, you might even get there first, he says, and they head to the Empire before us. Walking in Another World, Chapter 622, Preeks. 10 days after leaving Majolica, we reach Preeks. Elsa and Alto leveled up and got more stamina after fighting in the first dungeon, but they still seem tired. But I don't think that can be helped. After all, they insisted on keeping watch like everyone else on the way here. For the first 3 days, they also did mock battles during breaks, but simply rested after that. Still, they watched closely as everyone else did them, and asked Jin and the others to explain them. Preeks lacks life compared to Majolica. We ask a gatekeeper about an inn where we can stay, and it's so empty that it can accommodate all of us. What are you doing tomorrow? Siphon's party is going to Layla's place, right? That's the idea. Are you guys going to look for a house, Sora? We'll see what vacant houses they have. And we'll wait to see what Siphon and the others have to say before we decide to buy or rent. If they're going into a dormitory, we don't need a big house. If they aren't, we need a reasonably big one. We also need to know when classes are starting, and see what is more cost-effective, a house or an inn. I'd like a house to keep a transfer magic item, but since having another transfer base would be bad for my MP, I'd have to take the one in Majolica. It's 10 days on foot, but I think I can cut it down to less than half by using a golem and a wagon. It doesn't have a very good selection. Vegetables are cheap, but meat is expensive. Before we go to the merchant guild to look for a house, we pass by stores that sell equipment, and stores that sell food, but the selection of equipment is poor, and I see empty shelves. As for the food, there are plenty of vegetables, but meat is scarce, and about twice as expensive as it was in Majolica. I ask about it, and I'm told that while there have been more adventurers going to the dungeon, few go to the lower floors, so the price of meat is going up. Not having meat is sad, Hikari says as she drops her shoulders. We go around the stalls to have lunch, but only to serve meat. And there aren't that many stalls to begin with. In Majolica, there are a lot of adventurers around the guild close to the dungeon, but in Preeks, it's empty. It was a lot more lively the last time we were here, says Shun. And that stall we went to a lot isn't here anymore. Yes. And those bacon and vegetables sandwiches were good too, say Kotori and Kd, sounding disappointed. Then we go to the merchant guild, and check out the few mansion types that can house several people. I would have never been able to afford something like this in our old world. Yes, no way, say Miharu, Kotori, and then Shun, but I don't think average people can afford mansions in this world either. This one seems to have been used by nobles before, and it has a kitchen and bath with plenty of magic items. Said magic items use magic stones that need to be replaced periodically. After checking out 6 houses shown to us by the guild, we decide to put this on hold and leave. They were pushing us pretty hard to buy, so I assume they have a hard time finding buyers. Then we pass by the adventurer guild, that is empty. The quest board has a lot of quests about meat, like taking down wolves and tiger wolves. Compared to other towns. Sandworm. I've heard about that from Chris. They're big, troublesome monsters. Siphon mentioned them too. Apparently they're popular as a snack to have with wine. Sandworms appear on the desert floor. If it wasn't for Shizune, I don't think we could have gotten past it, says Kotori. because apparently they move underground and suddenly attack. They don't have anyone who can fulfill the role of a scout, so they have a hard time dealing with sneak attacks. They had to get through it with brute force. If they jumped out of the ground, they just had to make sure they couldn't, so Shizune froze the ground, froze a desert. Miharu is staring into the distance. It's a good thing we had equipment to protect us against the cold. Deserts get cold at night, you know, says Shun. After checking out the quests, we head back to the inn. We spend all day looking around houses and checking the Adventurer Guild, so it's getting dark. When we get to the inn, we see Siphon's party is already here, so they tell us what they heard from Layla. Walking in Another World, Chapter 623, Fortuna Magic Academy, Part 1. The next day, we go to the Fortuna Magic Academy. It's like a tour of the school. I see Layla by the entrance, and she waves when she sees us. Why are we here too? I ask. Because you're all like Elsa and Alto's guardians. Siphon and Noto smile awkwardly when they hear this. Layla isn't wearing her adventurer outfit today, she's wearing her Magius uniform. The design is similar, but it's all black. We go in with Layla, and see a man and a woman. The man looks to be in his 50s, and the woman about the same age as Yano. Both are wearing the same uniform as Layla. The man introduces himself as Orso, and the woman as Gaina. They lead the way as we walk around the school. First, we go inside a school building. We see a class taking place, with about 50 students, and a lecturer standing in front. There's what looks like a blackboard, with a shape drawn on it. They are studying magic circles. This academy is currently focused on classroom lectures, says Kana, and we realize why after looking at a few more classes. As you can see, we only have 2 facilities for practical magic training. The last principal was involved in illegal dealings, but without his skills, the school would not be functioning. Also says he did a lot to keep the facilities running, but he stuffed his own pockets through that, so that's why he isn't here anymore. Also, he only used his abilities in the last half year, when the situation in Preeks deteriorated. When the dungeon was being used normally, many adventurers got magic stones, and facilities were running without issue. Originally, there weren't that many people using these facilities, because the school put lectures, tests, and experiments above practical skill. But the magic items needed to perform tests and experiments also use magic stones. So as their supply went down, most facilities were affected. Is the situation with magic stones that bad? It's the same in Majolica, but compared to most towns, there are more average people here who use magic items. That is why people's daily lives take priority. And if people left because of that, the city's existence would be in jeopardy. I assume people won't be too quick to leave a place they're used to living in, but if they can't maintain their standard of living, I think a lot would go. Aren't they pushing something pretty bad on you? That's why they spoke to my mother about managing this place first. But it was turned down because my house would have too much power, so I came instead. Weren't there any other candidates? For some reason, they declined when it was offered. That makes it hard to rebuild. They don't want to do it, but don't want Layla's mother to do it either. Also, if someone fails, the others will use it as an excuse to take away some of their power. Layla says that's what the nobles are thinking. They're really tripping each other up. My father took it up to the guild, but they're both dungeons, but different. Majolica's is a labyrinth type, and this one is a natural field. Majolica also has fields on the 5th floor, 15th, and so on, but most people use the others. And when adventurers have a stable life to some extent, they like to hunt in places they're familiar with to save up money. Unless they belong to a clan and have the drive to keep going up, they're mostly going to realize their limits, and try not to overdo it. Still, some dream of striking it rich, and go to boss rooms they know they can beat, because it's easier to get a treasure chest in them than looking for one on other floors, and the probability of getting something rare is higher. That's why people always gather in front of boss rooms, especially the 10th and 20th floors. And why there was shady business going on when we first got there, just to check one final time. But what about the lecturer issue? There's no problem with us, says Siphon while looking at Yano. And then Layla turns to Nato. To us, it depends on the conditions. And I want to be like temporary lecturers, and Shun, Miharu, and Kotori, students. And Shizu. Apparently she wants to be something like a dorm mother. Also, we want to go to the dungeon when Siphon's party goes. Very well, then we will be counting on you. Walking in Another World, Chapter 624, Fortuna Magic Academy, Part 2. As things are winding down, Siphon and the others say they need to speak with Kana, and step out. Apparently Kana and Yano know each other. Meanwhile, we're taken to a dormitory. Layla, what's the procedure to enroll? When can they start school? I ask on the way there. It can be done right away. I have been hard at work. According to Layla, that's possible because the number of students here has been going down. It also means there's room in the dormitory. I actually wanted to take in more applicants and start them at the same time, but it doesn't look like that will be possible. But there are about 10 other students besides Elsa and Alto, and with Miharu and the others, it should bring the number up to close to 20. Those students' ages range from 6 to 12, with more than half being younger than 10. We couldn't let a lot in mostly because of time, but also because we don't have enough lecturers. It seems it wasn't just students, a lot of lecturers quit too. Hearing about it from Layla makes me feel bad. It would help her if we explored Preeks next. Sora, don't make that face. You have your lives. Although I'm not sure I can say that, considering I got Siphon's party and Noto's party involved already. That's not true. It's not like you used your influence to force anyone. I say, and Noto nods. Siphon and Noto don't have roots in this country, so they can leave any time they want. Look at Argo's party too. They said number. Is there anything we need to get when they enroll? Just clothes to wear in the dormitory, I think. Everything else like uniforms is provided. Then I guess that's it. Also, they can pick between individual rooms or sharing a room. There are large rooms used by noble children that are free, so you can use them. But they don't have furniture like beds, so you would have to buy them. I look at Elsa, and she furiously shakes her head. She doesn't want to stand out too much, and wants to live like a regular student. It will be easier to make friends like that too. After we're done, we say goodbye to Layla, and head back to the inn. It looks like everyone can stay in the dormitory, so I guess we can get a smaller house. I say smaller, but it's still one with 3 bedrooms, although they aren't that big. And they get pretty full with 2 bunk beds, so they really feel like places to just sleep. But this also means the area for cooking and eating is big. And of course, it comes with a bath. Apparently it was pretty expensive, but with fewer buyers on the market, everything is now 20% cheaper than before. The day after we settle things with the house, we furnish it and set the magic items. I think it's now ready for us to come back to it anytime, even though I don't think that will be so soon. There are 3 dungeons in the Empire. We are planning to conquer 2 this time, so it should take some time. Since Argo's party will be guiding us through one, it should be quicker if things go smoothly. And you're going to live in the dormitory, right Siphon? Why yes. But we might come here to rest from time to time. I give him and Elsa keys to the house. Siphon and the others were considering living here, but they settled on the dormitory. The decisive factor was meals being provided. Inns serve food, but you have to cook for yourself at home. And if you're going to start eating out, it's more cost-effective to just stay in an inn. That uniform suits you, I say, and Elsa smiles. I've learned in my travels that this is something I should say. But there's a small cloud hanging over Elsa's expression, because classes will be starting soon. It's less that she's worried about that, and more that she'll be saying goodbye to us again. She knew it was coming, but it still feels lonely. Elsa, introduce us to your friends next time we come here, says Hikari. Yes. I'll do my best. And Alto too. Hikari turns to Alto, and he nods. Everything is ready for them to start, so we spend the next 3 days with them, and Shun and the others. Siphon's party Noto, and the other teachers went to the academy sooner, because they're going to have some things explained to them. And Elsa and Alto aren't there yet because the other students enrolling weren't ready. But that's also over, so they take their stuff and cross the entrance to the academy. After seeing them off, it's time to leave Prix. Our first stop is the capital of Maia. We walk out of Prix, but after a while, we get on the wagon carried by a Gillam. Walking in Another World, Chapter 625, One the Road. After leaving Prix, we're stopping by Maia, the capital of the magic state of Ifar, and a town called Hulia. We stay the night in Maia, and mostly go around stalls to stock up on food. Unlike Majolica, a lot of dishes here are centered around vegetables, and I see sandwiches with vegetables of multiple colors. There are easily over 20 kinds, and of course, I buy them all. As for meat, it goes without saying that the dungeon means Majolica has more variety. Also, Maia has a lot of research institutions, so in the same way that adventurers in Majolica form clans, they're divided into a few groups that work on making magic items. There are also research teams that consist of members of the Alchemist Guild. Also, these researchers don't just work on magic items, there are also people who study history and research magic. There's a big library in the center called Central Library, and I'd like to go there when I have the chance. After leaving Maia and riding the wagon for 3 days, we reach Hulia, where a river is flowing nearby. Lokia, a town near Majolica, thrives on its agriculture using this water, but here, they use it mostly for their livestock. They raise pigs, cows, horses, sheep, and birds that look like ducks. Horses are raised for food, and for agriculture, wagons, and riding. The town is surrounded by high walls, with houses built alongside it, a vast area for livestock that stretches towards the center, and houses in the center. Of course, there aren't that many houses in the places where animals graze, but there are buildings that are like lodging houses managed by the town, where workers sleep. There aren't a lot of birds. As we walk through the center, I ask a butcher, who tells me they raise birds in Yuan. So around here, they raise birds just for their eggs, not meat. When we get to an inn and eat, I understand why. Normally, monster meat is tastier than meat from livestock. But Yuan bird meat isn't outdone by orc meat. Master, let's buy a lot when we get to Yuan. Hikari gives her stamp of approval. We're buying other kinds of meat here, and some eggs. The reasons why we're stocking up in the magic state are that meat won't spoil in the item box, but most importantly, we want to get as much food as possible before we reach the Empire. The last time we were there, people had been dispatched to fight the Demon King, but according to Rurika and Chris, food shortages are a problem in the Empire. Even aside from that, they have 3 dungeons, but the kinds of monsters that appear are skewed, and it's also hard to bring them back. Not that you'll have a problem, because you can carry anything. Some people there hire porters, so people without stuff like item bags prioritize bringing back expensive materials. Me trots if people stay in a dungeon for too long, so they figure they might as well eat it there, which also means they don't have to worry about food. Apparently, a lot of adventurers in the Empire also carry those preserved foods that are famously bad. Well, they're bad, but they're a great way to take in nutrients. They're still bad though. What else do we need? I think we have all we need. We bought rare flavorings, and we bought pretty much everything we need in Elysia, says Mio after checking. We then go around the stalls, and leave Hulia the next day. After leaving, we follow a gentle slope to the foot of a mountain. This is why they made flat areas along the road, where horses can rest. They're also used for people to park their wagons and camp at night. There aren't any people. I've been sitting on the driver's seat of the Golem wagon, but I haven't seen a single other wagon. Even map doesn't show me any reactions until the foot of the mountain. Noto and the others also said they didn't see any on their way back to Elysia. And apparently they were attacked by demons like Gido around here. 2 days after leaving Hulia, we reach the place where that happened, and see the road was fixed. Could that be why no one's here? I guess if news gets out that people were attacked somewhere, people don't usually go in the first place. Even fewer people are going to go there. I'm pretty sure it wasn't announced that it was demons who attacked. I don't know why, But maybe it was because Elysia wanted to hide the existence of heroes from another world. What now? Are we going to keep going through the night, or camp here? We could keep going until we get to the mountain and rest there. Then we can decide where to go when we actually see the mountain paths. I say to Rurika, as the wagon keeps going. The Gillam wagon can keep going throughout the night, as long as it has magic energy. And it helps that no one's around. Walking in Another World, Chapter 626, Choice. We reach the foot of the mountain, where we have to pick between two routes. One means continuing on with the wagon. We can go up without walking, but since the wagon can't go up steep slopes, that means we have to zigzag a lot as we follow gentler paths. The other means going up on foot. This is the way to go directly to the top. As for which one is faster, it depends on the strength of the horses pulling the wagons, and the strength of the people walking up the mountain. Still, despite this being the shortest route to go from Elysia to Afar, few people use it. That's why Elysia chose to send Noto and the others to Afar through here, to keep them a secret. The only reasons why we picked this route this time were just that we've never been here, and because Kotori and the others said the bird dishes in Yuan are tasty. We already confirmed that in Hylia. We reached the foot of the mountain. Where to now? I'm sure Sora wants to walk, right? Asks Mia, and I nod. I don't get tired from walking, and I don't think it would make that big of a difference. Even if we don't stop to rest if we go by Gillam wagon, there are too many sharp curves, so we can't really go that fast. I think we prefer the wagon, says Chris while looking at Rurika. Rurika doesn't like wagons that shake too much, but she still prefers it over walking up steep mountain paths. Is Master going to be okay alone? I'm concerned too, but we know where he is, so I think it's fine. And Hikari, you can tell how he's doing even if he's away, right? Yes, I'll know if there's something weird around him. As far as I can see on map, there aren't any reactions of monsters, or people for that matter. We heard that sometimes bird monsters appear, but I think it's more likely they'll target the wagon and not me, because the path where people have to walk has trees around it. On the flip side, having many trees also makes it more difficult to see monsters approaching on foot, so while there are still a lot of branches and leaves high up, the ones closer to the ground are trimmed off. Let's go then. Worst case scenario, we'll meet up again in the mountain town. Yes, that's fine. Sarah takes the reins, and the wagon runs off. If there are no problems, it should be possible to reach the top in 2 days. That's at a regular wagon speed, so if they keep running through the night, they could very well reach it in 1. After seeing the wagon gradually increase its speed, and step onto the trail. It's definitely not a properly serviced path, but people used it before there was a path for wagons. Actually, I hear people from the mountain town still use it if they're not traveling by wagon. Because of that, the ground is hard, and surprisingly not lumpy. The only issue is that there are many fallen leaves, which I think would make the ground slippery if it rained. The inclination is pretty steep, so I have to take a forward-leaning posture as I go up. I take a big breath, and the scent of fresh verdure fills my lungs. No matter how steep it gets, I won't get tired or have trouble walking, but it feels lonely. I'm used to traveling with a lot of people around me. Still, I decided to do this because ever since I got the wagon and transfer, I haven't had that many chances to walk. I look at map from time to time and check the position of the wagon, but it looks like it's going a lot slower compared to how it was at the start, especially after lunch. I guess it's easier to get sick in a vehicle after eating. I made it so the wagon doesn't shake a lot, but it's impossible to cancel it out completely on a mountain road. I checked the ground over on the wagon side before, and it looked to be in a worse condition compared to the walking path. It's not all bad, but there were wheel marks, and big bumps and holes. I assume it's not easy to do road repair in this world. Or could it be that they hire people who can use earth magic to do it? I think the Gillam will be careful about that, so it should be fine. And even if they break a wheel, I'm sure that group will manage. I think about that as I enjoy walking among this greenery, and time passes fast. The sun is almost setting, and while I could keep going with the help of my skills, I think I need to take a break. because I can see on map that the wagon stopped on the mountainside. Master, let's eat, is the first thing and only thing Hikari says after I go over a hill and reach them. You would probably keep walking all night if you were alone, says Mia. Apparently that's why they stopped to camp here. Also, the golem can work on its own, but they are still a little worried about riding a wagon through a mountain road at night. But it doesn't matter, because I'm happy that I get to eat with everyone. I'll just walk by myself tomorrow again, and take it easy today. Walking in Another World, Chapter 627, Mountain Town Yuan. Master, are there lots of birds? When we get to Yuan, we hear bird noises. Yuan is surrounded by a wooden wall that's about 3 meters tall, but it's less to protect the town against outside threats, and more to make sure the birds don't escape. There are also a few walls in town that serve to separate people's living spaces from the spaces where birds are raised. At night, the birds go in their own buildings, but they are free to walk around when morning comes. Suffice to say, it's the people raising these animals who manage these buildings. And, if the weather suddenly gets bad, they have to be able to deal with that. It seems like Yuan is self-sufficient, also growing crops in town or on mountain slopes. However, there is still stuff they can't get on their own, so they make money selling their prized birds. Also, this town sits at the border of Ilazia and Afar, but doesn't belong to either, although they mostly do business with Ilazia. That's less because people like them, and more because it's easier for people to come here from Ilazia. But there are reasons why there is still trade with the Magic State. Let's buy as much poultry as we can. Good thinking, Master. Some towns have difficulty selling to individuals, but this is where my merchant guild card comes in handy. I don't contribute to the guild much, paying only the minimum membership fee, so my rank is still the same. It's not like I'm really working as a merchant. We mostly buy things for ourselves, and when it's time to sell monster materials, the Adventurer Guild is enough. We check in on an inn, and I ask the owner to introduce me to someone who manages these birds. You can wait until tonight. Someone will come to have dinner. I want to go out and check out the town. What about you? I ask, and Hikari and Mia say they're coming along, while the others want to rest in the inn. It would be one thing if it was a normal road, but that mountain road was tough on their bodies. Especially Rurika's. She looks like she feels bad about it, but Hikari notices that, and states strongly that we'll bring gifts. Is there anything around here that fits the bill though? As we walk around, various people speak to us. It looks like they're cautious because they're not used to seeing us around. When I show my guild card and say I'm here to buy meat after hearing good things about it, they soften up a little and speak with me. I think having Mia and Hikari with me helps too. And people are particularly surprised when they hear the small Hikari came here from the Magic State. When we got here, I put the wagon in the item box, so we got in on foot, and we've been telling everyone here that's how we traveled. As for the town itself, I see one building that looks like a store, but it doesn't look like there's anything else. Said store looks like it deals with everyday goods and luxury grocery items. Apparently the town supplies food, and money is paid in accordance to days worked and the price their goods sold for. We are shown what they have, and trade some alcohol and potions. It's not like we really need anything, but the person behind the counter says they don't have enough potions, and Mia looks at me like she's asking if we can do something, so we trade. Big Sister Rurika, there were no gifts. When we get back, Hikari apologizes for bringing nothing. It's fine, Hikari. The owner said we are having dishes with their poultry, so that's enough, says Rurika. I guess that's their local specialty. Still, while we wait, Hikari talks about what we saw. The most noteworthy thing was the view from a sort of viewing platforms. They have them to the south and north, so it's possible to see the scenery on both the side of Ilazia and the Magic State. Looking down showed us the inclination, and how we did well to climb all that. Rurika and the others say they want to see that too before we leave. We keep chatting until the owner calls us, and we go down to the dining hall. We're the only guests in the inn, but there are townspeople here to eat. We are taken to empty seats, and are quick to start eating the first thing served to us. Skewers with what looks like pieces of whole roasted birds. Hikari's eyes shine when she starts eating, and her cheeks loosen after the first bite. We follow her lead, and I see this is definitely tastier than what we had in earlier. Is it the freshness? The cooking? I feel like both could be it. This really feels like the cooking of someone who is used to this bird meat. We start speaking less and less, and the food in front of us disappears. As we eat, I sneakily activate the cooking skill to investigate what kind of flavorings are being used. If I could make this while we travel, that would level up our meals again. And it doesn't take long for us to finish eating. Walking in Another World, Chapter 628, Monster Extermination. As the meal comes to a close, I start negotiating with someone that deals with bird meat. I manage to buy it without issues, and we're also praised for how we dug into the meat. Apparently the people who produce it are happy to see people enjoy it, especially with the fervorous way Hikari was eating. Well, I've never met anyone who enjoys meat as much as Hikari either. But of course, she thought it was so delicious thanks to the people here that raise the birds and cook them. I pay with money and potions. They're sold in the store, but potions really are valuable. Hikari asks me to throw in detox potions too, and the person I'm paying is confused because I'm paying too much. Please keep producing that delicious meat, says Hikari, and the producer accepts it. I sure will, young lady. She gets a strong response. Yes. It's thanks to the people of Yuan that we got to eat something so tasty. Also, these potions would fetch a good price in stores, but since I made them with alchemy using materials I picked, they didn't actually cost me anything. The next day, we take Rurika and the others to the viewing platforms, walk around town getting a tour of where the birds are raised, and after we have lunch in the inn, we leave Yuan. The owner also gives us packed meals to have at dinner time, which we gladly take, and townspeople see us off as we go down the mountain path. I bring out a map and infuse it with magic energy to enlarge it, but I don't see any reactions coming from Alizia's side. But I do see reactions of monsters in the forest close to the path. The slopes are too steep on the magic state's side for monsters to live well, but since they are more gentle here, it seems they are more active. Sora, are you going to hunt? Maybe? Apparently the people of Yuan don't really hunt monsters. We heard all sorts of things after dinner last night, and one of them was that people of Yuan don't tend to go out of their way to leave the town to hunt monsters. But they do eliminate them when they come close to town, which means if we hunt, that won't trouble them at all. They could get monster materials too if they hunted them, but the problem is that they don't really have a lot of experience. It could lead to damage, and depending on how big it gets, it could end up not being profitable. That might have to do with why they need potions too. It was especially bad during the period of a few months when the monsters that rarely appear started showing up once every month. Even travelers from Alizia who went there to buy meat encountered them a few times. The adventurers escorting them took care of the monsters, so at least there wasn't any damage done. But this helps in our decision to hunt monsters like big boars and bloody bears that we encounter as we go down. Needless to say, we're not going deep into the mountain to look for them, but I give the golem instructions to go bait ones that are a bit far. In the end, we take out close to 20 monsters in half a day, because some move in groups. So are we going to keep going down, or transfer to the capital? Honestly, we've walked enough on the way here, and I've had my fill of the mountain scenery. Also, if we go down the main road on Alizia's side, we'll be going through Physis and Epica. We've been there before, so I'm good. Yes. And Argo and the others are waiting too, so let's just fly there, says Rurika, as she looks at Hikari fidgeting a little. There's a place to take monsters apart in the mansion we have in the capital, so we can take apart the monsters we just hunted there. Hikari doesn't say anything, but I think she's interested in that meat. And so, no one objects, and I use transfer. We land in the mansion in the capital and I use presence detection, but no one's here. We, the ones summoned from another world, were given mansions and slave servants. But since we are almost never here, they're mostly free. Master, give me the monsters to take apart. Let's all do it. We won't go through them all, but we can at least drain their blood. That way, We can do the rest on the road if it comes to that. That's the part that takes the most time. We agree with Rurika and start taking the monsters apart. And when the servants come back, we do it together. This room can fit 5 monsters having their blood drained, so we'll continue tomorrow. Walking in Another World, Chapter 629, in the Empire again. After we have breakfast, we keep working on the monsters. I say that, but we're hanging them to drain their blood, and we're going to finish our business here by the time that's done. Rurika and the others stop by the guild, and sell materials of monsters we took apart yesterday. Then we go around the capital, but not just to have fun. We need to do some last-minute shopping before entering the Empire's territory, and stock up on flavorings that are running low. Once we're done, we go around the stalls and stock up on food too. Master, how many monsters are left? 3, I think. We also sold monsters we didn't take apart. We get more money if we take them apart ourselves, because we don't have to pay a fee. But since we're going to the Empire, we decided to sell them here. Since we're going to dungeons there, I'm sure finding monsters won't be a problem. Look after the house. 3 days later, the servants see us off as we leave the capital. They're pretty free, because they just have to look after the house and can do whatever they want aside from that. That threw them off a lot at first, but they're used to it. They can do other work during that free time, so apparently they pursue other things when we're not here. It's a really easy working environment, other than when we suddenly drop by. We follow a road east towards the Empire, and our first stop is a town called Grid. We'd reach the imperial capital Hyle if we went further east, but we're going down south from Grid to a town called Zuurtria. That's where the dungeon is, and where we'll meet up with Argo's party. Incidentally, we asked about them in the capital, and we were told they stopped by 5 days before us, but left right away. The town of Grit borders Elysia, but unlike the town on the border with Aldo, there are still watchtowers, but the atmosphere is less violent. Maybe it's because both countries believe in human supremacy, or maybe it's because Elysia got rid of its king and is still recovering, and the Empire doesn't feel too threatened. Your goal? When we enter Grit, we're asked why we came to the Empire. To go to the dungeon in Zuurtria, I say, and show my guild card. I feel like Grit has a lot of Imperial soldiers, and not many adventurers. When I ask someone in the inn about it, I'm told most adventurers gather in the towns with the dungeons. The Empire has 3 dungeons. One in the capital, one in Zuurtria, and one in a town called Avid. If things go well in Zuurtria, we'll go to Avid too. According to Argo and the others, if we just want to conquer the dungeon, the one in Zuurtria doesn't take that long. There's not much to see, so let's stay in the inn and leave tomorrow. Yes, got it. I'd like to go around the stalls too, but we walked through the main street on the way here, and the stalls were few and expensive. Stalls in the Empire tend to be hit or miss. If you want something good, you should go to an inn or a tavern, says Rurika, and her words have weight because she's gone around the Empire. The next morning, we leave Grid after having breakfast, on a wagon I bought in Grid. The biggest reason why I bought it, is that since the main road has many merchants coming and going to do business with materials from the dungeon, we can't use the Gillam wagon, or people would see it. We could go by omnibus, but Rurika and the others don't want to. Apparently they had a pretty bad experience last time they were here. I give the wagon the absorption skill to minimize shocks, but I still feel it shaking more compared to the one I made. Bear with it until tonight. I talk to Hikari next to the driver's seat, and she nods. It's currently her, me, and Sarah sitting here, and Sarah is holding the reins, because she's the best one at getting the horses to move as she wants. But I don't want her to have all the burden, so we've been taking turns. Although for some reason, they don't really listen to me. Hikari was bad at it too at first, but she's getting better as the day goes on. Hikari, what is your secret? I showed who's boss. What did she do? You could give them something tasty, is her advice. So winning them over with food? But we typically give horses raw vegetables. Maybe brushing them and being friends is the best way. We can't talk, so all I can do is try to guess what they want. It takes us 5 days to reach Zuurtria, but I end up not being able to get the horses to listen to me like they do with Sarah and Hikari. I guess I'm better than I was at first. We're keeping them even after we reach Zuotria, but we need somewhere to keep them while we're in the dungeon. But I'll take good care of them. What should we do first, Master? Look for a place to leave the wagon, and then meet up with Argo's party. I ask the guards as we go in, and they tell us there's a stable near the entrance. Some inns also have spaces where we can keep them, but we leave them in the stable, and head to the Adventurer Guild. Walking in Another World, Chapter 630, Zuotria. There's a small hill in the middle of Zuotria, that has an entrance. This is the entrance to the dungeon. The walls around it are apparently a remnant of when a dungeon break happened long ago. This dungeon has already been conquered, and there hasn't been a dungeon break since. We leave the wagon, and walk through the main street towards the center of town, because the Adventurer Guild is near the dungeon. There are stalls lined up on both sides of the street as we get closer to the center, selling weapons and armor, various potions, and food. By casting appraisal as I pass by the stalls, I see bargains like high-quality potions and sharp swords jumbled together with swords that are pretty much garbage. Is that a map of the dungeon? Is this your first time here? Someone behind a stall responds to my mumbling, so I nod. How about getting one then? It'll let you walk around the dungeon without getting lost. It's actually pretty detailed. There are 10 kinds of maps, and they all have a number in the corner. I shouldn't. The others might have them already. I shake my head. I don't even know what this dungeon is like. Majolica's changes periodically, so can I take the fact that maps are being sold to mean that isn't the case here? The person making the pitch is disappointed, but doesn't insist. Actually, he's already moved on to someone else. That was a quick recovery. Maybe it's experience speaking, and leading to the conclusion that I'm definitely not buying. I won't know until I actually enter the dungeon, but if map works there, that's all I need. But maybe it would make sense to buy maps for the others, since I'm the only one who can see map. Some other people call out to us as we keep walking, but we reach the guild without having bought anything. I have enough disposable items in the item box, and mithril weapons are better than what they have. Is that Guilford? Asks Rurika as soon as we walk in. She's looking towards the wall with the board where quests are fixed. Guilford also sees us, and walks our way. You got here fast. We transferred along the way, I say, and Guilford nods. Did you just get here? Did you find an inn? We just got here. We were going to send a message if we didn't find each other. I see. It's good timing, because we went to the dungeon yesterday. Anyway, we actually already have a room for you. It's a little on the expensive side, but the meals are good, and it comes with a bath. Wouldn't that be pretty expensive? As I think that, Guilford smiles awkwardly. I know I made a decision for you, but the cheap ones were all full, so we ended up going with one with a bath and nice meals. And money isn't really a problem for you, is it? I guess that makes sense. Hikari is happily nodding too, and apparently food in the Empire tends to be hit or miss. So now what? Should I take you to the inn, or do you want to register to enter the dungeon? Can we do that now? Yes, it's like registering for the guild. If it doesn't take a lot of time, we should register. Guilford takes us to a building near the entrance to the dungeon, where we pay a registration fee, and an employee takes us to the entrance to the dungeon. Please touch this panel with your hand. Left or right, whichever you prefer. I do just that, and the panel makes a sound. The registration is complete. Next please. We go one at a time, but there's a problem. Strange. This has never happened before. The employee is baffled. Yes, Kana can't register. Is it because she's a golem? I'm sorry, but it doesn't look like this person can enter the dungeon. I will look into why, but if it's not possible, then we just have to accept. If Kana can't go in the dungeon, maybe she should stay in the giant's village. So about the dungeon. I'll tell them about it. They just got here. Very well. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Have a happy dungeon life. We receive the money back from Kana's registration, and head to the inn with Guilford. So how did you come here? By that thing? Did you walk? We bought a wagon. I see. Then you should keep it in the inn. They don't charge extra. And so, we go get the horses from the stable, and head to the inn.